Hey there, Michael James coming at you from Hyde Street Studios in San Francisco with staff engineer Will Chason, and Will's going to tell us a little bit about the joint here and the history of it, and then I'm going to tell you why we're actually here.
Absolutely. Well, we're lucky enough to be under the same ownership since 1980 and serving the Bay Area. This building has been a studio since 1967. We've seen everybody from the Grateful Dead to George Clinton to Train to Green Day, many others.
Right.
So a lot of history under our roofs, and we're lucky to still be doing what we're doing.
Right, and didn't it used to be Wally Heider Studios?
Yeah, formerly Wally Heider, up until 1980 when Michael Ward took over the place and has operated since then.
And one thing that I find really interesting is that you guys really are a part of the community now, and that you charge affordable rates, you know, for artists in the end major, and the studio appears to be thriving as far as I can tell.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely helped us out a lot, and we have a really good community of people under this roof. It's maybe 15 different studios, so it's kind of a bustling energy here, which is lucky to kind of be around, and you never know who you're going to run into.
Right. So I got to tell you, I love Studio A. I would do some work there, especially with you behind the board.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah. So the reason that we're actually here today is that every once in a while I like to get out of my room, do something different, and you know, music has just been such a blessing for me that I always like to give back when I can. So every once in a while I do these events, typically with Marek Stycos. Marek, why don't you come on over here, please? And
my brother.
Yeah, brother Marek, soul brother. So, you know, Mark is really into all things audio, and he brings me along because he's...
Well, because he knows his shit, and I just talk about shit.
Well, one could say that. But, you know, typically I give a little bit of a mini mixing master class or a Q&A, or just something where people can come up to me and say, hey, man, if you could do this, I can certainly do this. I'm doing it the other way, obviously. Right? So, yeah, that's why we're here. Mark's going to do his thing. I'm going to do my thing. Will's going to do his thing. And, you know, hopefully everybody will get a little something cool out of it.
It's a wild thing.
Yeah, so we'll show you around a little bit more.
So we're here in Studio A. This is the room with our Neve 8048 board, which has been redone over the past couple of years. So we have 38 channels of pristine Neve pre's and EQs, along with all the nice routing and bus options.
So do you know what all these buttons and knobs do on here?
You know, I've mastered it over the years, but get asked that a lot. Hopefully I do now.
I've been asked that same question many times, and typically the answer is like, well, I know what this one does. I figure you got to start someplace, and I'm working my way.
Working across, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most efficient way, but you'll get it done eventually.
Yeah, so these are great sounding boards. I just love them. So I also noticed a really interesting collection of outboard gear here.
Yeah, I mean, all the favorites. We have our Pultex, our Lang EQs, a couple 1176s, an LA2A and an LA2, which is the earlier version of it. Mm-hmm. This room really combines old with new, so we're using the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I know. And you have Pro Tools with full-on analog, everything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we can run it with a computer, without a computer, really whatever people need to do, which is why it's so much fun to work in this room. The flexibility of different tones from different eras, whatever you want to take.
Right. Hey, do you mind showing us a quick look at your tracking room out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
I like your lava lamp.
Thank you.
Hey, well, does this piano make me look fat?
You know, I think the white looks good next to you. It makes you look nice and slim, actually.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the letters on your shirt.
Oh, shit, are we filming? Okay. Hey, so, yeah, this is cool, right, man?
Yeah.
Do you have some history to this piano?
There is a lot of history in the room, a lot of history in the piano. This is actually used to be Frank Sinatra's piano. He used to hang out in the Tenderloin back in one of the jazz districts of San Francisco. Okay.
Does that explain why around the corner they have Chairman Bao food?
You know, unrelated. It came...
That's unrelated. Okay.
Yeah. But it's called the Tenderloin. I don't know why. A couple different reasons I've heard. But it does have good food. That's for sure.
Cool.
But anyways, yeah, a lot of history in this room. Originally there was one room. We added these ISO booths in 20 years ago. So we can get whatever you need as well in this room. Everyone can track in the same room and still have isolation. You can throw people in different rooms if you want to put some space between them, or keep them together, however the band really wants to do it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to see in this joint?
Yeah, let's go check out... Shit, I don't know.
I don't know, we'll go find
I heard Audio Alchemist is up in Studio C.
Oh, yeah.
We should check that out.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're in one of the echo chambers, or is it the echo chamber?
This is the only echo chamber that's been left in echo chamber. The other ones are actually studios now with baffles and...
So how's the sound working out right now with the videographer?
Probably horribly.
Yeah, I doubt they didn't hear much, but...
Can we just remove that? Is there a
So
plug-in?
when we move out of the echo chamber, I'll translate what we said in here. But basically the way that this works, you know, everybody wonders like, oh, how do you get that great echo sound? And they have a preset that says chamber. It's like, oh, like that on vocals or whatever. And basically the way you do it is you pump in a signal, which is
Through a speaker.
coming out of a speaker that's down here off camera. And then over here, there are a couple of stereo microphones, well, or two mono microphones in stereo XY pattern. And so I guess you have a mono send and a stereo return. And this is what a real live chamber looks like. You think you can do the translation of that when we get outside and...
I think so, yeah. I need it.
It could be the chamber of the dead. You never know. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for showing us around. Really appreciate it. Very cool place you have here, and I hope to come back and do some more work here with you.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, cool. And I guess maybe we'll try and get some shots of the event. You know, if we get anything that looks good on camera, we'll either tack it on the end of this or we'll make another video for you. Michael James signing out. Catch you later.
There's one brand of gear, and it may be Cush Audio, it may be somebody else, and they specifically say they do not want you to look at the knobs, they just want you to twirl them. When you are making when you hear something on a record and you want to make an adjustment, are you thinking third of an octave, 2 dB at 125, or you just know what your shit does and you go for the knobs and do it?
It's sort of both, but I will always put feel above sonics. And again, you know, like take the piano on this second version, the MJ version. You know, the piano, I specifically left a lot of this.
Right, it's fucked up on purpose. It's fucked up piano. Yeah, it works.
The notes were like, I couldn't really hear the notes.
It works.
Felt it.
It felt something, right?
Yeah.
It just felt kind of
First
soft.
version was
Like I heard every note. It was perfect.
pingy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, for me, the feel was just have this something where it's like, I don't know, man, maybe like in your other room there with the blanket over the piano, maybe somebody forgot to take the blanket
I was thinking like Linus piano or whatever, man. It fucking works because again, you're bringing out who's the fucking superstar.
That's right. Because you have the contrast too.
Yeah, you got the superstar. The piano can't overshadow the superstar. You know, that's what you did. It was great.
But anyway, I want to sort of wrap up this part unless you guys have other questions or if there's anything that I missed. But the point was make a statement, feel something regarding those frequencies and stuff. You know, I mean, I know where the resonant frequency is on a kick drum versus a wide cymbal versus male versus female versus sibilant versus other stuff. But I would just, you know, so I know that, but like really, I don't look at the dials and stuff until I think somebody may want to recall on this. And then I'll write the stuff down. I'll be like, oh, that was there. I didn't even realize. Holy shit, 6 dB instead of 1.
Yeah.
You know.
My original question was in the box, out of the box hybrid.
Okay,
And
great
I think
question.
That's right where you are.
Hybrid, because I'll use Pro Tools to do all the editing. I never want to see a razor blade in my life to cut tape. And I never want to
cocaine.
Tape hiss and noise.
No cocaine.
And now converters are really good. There's all the bills for that too. So you I just got totally lost. Okay.
Hybrid versus.
Thank you. Okay. So I'll use Pro Tools for all the edits. No Coke, Pepsi. Use Pro Tools for all the edits.
Okay.
But then I sum through 4 of these. I have 84 analog I/O with my Pro Tools rig, so enough to power a huge console. And my console is actually based on you know, a bunch of Convert 8s and 4 of these So
don't
I'm
actually
really
have a
only
console.
summing 64 in the analog domain.
So you don't have a console, you're just using the...
Well, no, I do have a console, actually. I'll pass around a picture. Make sure I get this phone back, guys.
There goes your life.
Get the Uber and jump on it.
Right? So pictures from a little bit of a distance. And by the way, Tim shot this picture. So if you need some really good-looking stuff.
So it's his fault?
So my console is basically a mastering console that's been, in the back there, it's been modified to be a mixing console, right? So I have basically stuff like this in producer racks and in the console. And so yeah, I like the, so basically what this lets me do is save all of my automation inside the box, but still get the benefit of the analog summing, which Marek will tell you about. And then there's very few plugins. I love the Sound Toys bundle. And there is one EQ plugin that I like a lot for cuts. You know, I don't use it for moving something forward or back. I just use it to get rid of resonances, and that's the Massenburg MDW plugin. Yeah, but, you know, if I got to do something like Melodyne, got to tune a vocal, I'll do it. Sometimes a plugin has a certain sound that I just like the sound of it. Like, you know, I love all this stuff, but there's one plugin by Sound Toys called Devilock Deluxe that just has a sound to it. And so sometimes you're like, you know, that electric piano really needs that sound. And then I'll put it through some of this too. So yeah, for me, it's like total hybrid situation. You know, the modern convenience of the digital audio workstation. Pro Tools is what I use, HDX. And then as you can see, a shit ton of analog gear all coming up on a patch bay or through Liaison, which, you know, if we had a lot of time, I would show you how this is kind of faster than Pro Tools for me in terms of instantiating, you know, things, and I can A/B things just super quick. They actually put a video up on YouTube last week about it, so if anyone is curious about Liaison, maybe check that out. And what was your question then?
I think you kind of answered it in bits and parts,
Okay.
but like in today's, I guess, modern world in hip hop and trap, it's like producer and beat maker get kind of conflated, right? And so you started out more like a beat maker, more like a musician artist.
I started as an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe talk about the balance between, like, you know, having like session players come in. You know, like what is the balance between like producer, musician?
I modeled myself after guys like Quincy Jones,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Okay.
George Martin.
That's kind of where I see myself too. Yeah.
Okay, and so for me, it's important to know how to read music. Not so that I'm not saying sight reading, but I'm saying be able to read it so that there's some vocabulary where, you know, if you're working with an orchestra and you hear something that's a rub, you know, you want to be able to look at the lead sheet and say, okay, you know, in this section, you change this note. I think it's important, even if you don't actively look at charts. Like, I mean, holy crap, in 36 years or whatever, other than some keyboardists and string people who were hired for gigs, I've almost never had written lead sheets for bands. It's like usually somebody will take a sheet of paper and they'll write A minor 7 C G G, A minor 7 G G, and then everybody just kind of works off that. So you have to have some sort of musicality